And we're back with some more oxygen not included. And today is the day we're going to go out and find ourselves a cold biome. If we look around here, there's some icy looking sections over there, and we're going to use one of those sections to cool down our oxygen supply. We're going to have to get ourselves up an electrolyzer setup sooner rather than later. At the same time, we're also going to want to get our hands on Wheezeworts. I did a whole bunch of testing yesterday in sandbox mode, playing around on a test map. There is so many new mechanics they've introduced. I wasn't supposed to take the whole day playing around with it, but once you get started, you can't stop. Also, I can't wait to get into seeds, but that's later. That's later. Today, we just want to get oxygen sorted and get radiation technology sorted. If we go into research here, go down to this section, we want to get our hands on Radbolt generators and the atomic collider. That'll allow us to start knocking out radiation research, because that's actually going to take a little bit of time. And we want to basically start into that so we can start knocking out some of the more crucial techs like steam turbines and solar, which are both locked behind it. They're two very, very crucial techs. Just give us 5 minutes while we finish out coring out this area. I want to see exactly how much algae we've got to work with before we start, panicking about our oxygen supplies. I had forgotten how much digging you need to do. Oh my god. Over here, we're just freeing up some of these. Some of these critters ended up in locations where they were trapped, or they were going to end up decreasing their numbers because there was too many of them in too small a space. So we're just going to dig those areas out as a priority to hopefully keep those critters alive a little bit longer. There's a Wheezewort. Yes, the beautiful glow of radiation, which we're going to need for our next few steps. But nope. Oxygen first, then we'll worry about radiating everything. Down here, where there also seems to be an ice biome, we're going to get close to that one and have a look. And I think there was a third one over this side. Yeah, there's another one over there. I think that's an ice biome over there. We have so many ice biomes on this asteroid, it's excellent. After much digging, we have managed to locate 4 Wheezeworts that will provide us with more than sufficient radiation for our needs. Also, this has given us an ice biome, which, well, yeah, we're going to use that for cooling of all of our oxygen. And at the same time, we've got a vent or geyser down here, which we're going to have a look at. Now, we could, of course, find out what it is by using the priority trick, but that's no fun. We will have to actually dig down and find out what it is. But before we do all of that, I should probably replace the bathrooms. I just realized we never got around to that, and we're going to have to redo our food. Food has been changed drastically. We can still do vacuum storage, however, that's a ways away. We're going to need a bunch of tech for that, which reminds me, atmosuits are done. We'll grab gas tanks to go with that. And where is hydrogen generators? We're going to need those, aren't we? Oh, hydrogen generators, never mind. Already got them. Okay, here. Fridges. We need to put in some fridges to store our food. We're going to have to power them. It's going to be weird, but it'll at least keep us going for a while. Right now, all this pickled meal is sitting here in some carbon dioxide, and it's getting minus 2% of freshness per cycle because it's not refrigerated. However, it is in a sterile environment, so it's not actually getting... Well, that should be another minus 2% if it wasn't for the sterile environment. So once we get this into a fridge... Hey guys, fridges? Anyone want to stock the fridge? Fine, we'll turn up the priority, you muppets. And once they put it in there... There we go, pickled meal is delivered. We can see here... Oh, minus 0.6, so it'll still go down if it's refrigerated, just not as fast. Okay. That seems you have to get it down to minus 18 to deep freeze it, which means it will never go off at that point. That could take us a while. We'll get around to vacuum storage in a bit, but I want to get our toilets sorted first. Toilets-wise, we're going to go with the normal recycle the polluted water, dump it back into the toilets thing. We got plenty of space back here to chuck it in. Give me 1 minute while I outline this. The plan, very simple. This is going to be a 64-tile bathroom. So we'll stick in 1 toilet here, then we'll stick three more toilets along there. We'll have in 4 sinks. And then for the water on this, plumbing-wise, the output water is going to come over here. And it's going to go into this end. That will filter it into clean water, which will come back out this way and go back in across the bottom. And we'll just have this all the way along for every single toilet and sink. Of course, we do have to prep the system, which means we're going to have to put some clean water in. We'll be bringing that up from down here. So we'll bring it in, let's say, about this end. And then what we'll do is we'll bridge it on. Actually, right there. Up 1, bridge that across. So that'll feed water into the system and all the way along. And then once it's full, it'll stop because that bridge won't let any more go in, so long as there's more water coming from this direction. So that should sort that out. However, that will need power as well, of course, so we're going to have to bring in a wire. Now, we could put in a floor on this whole thing, but that's just more time and effort, and I don't want to bother putting in a floor. Plus, I don't think these pipes give a negative. Regular pipes don't give a negative. It's insulated pipes that give a negative. Is it radiant as well? No, who cares? once these are in place, we can start ripping out the rest of these toilets and sinks and replacing them with the new ones. Looks simple enough to me. Water should be along shortly. We had to run all the piping for that, but once the piping's in, we can start getting rid of, well, we can add in 2 more toilets and then we can start slowly replacing the rest. Here comes the water. Once those 2 toilets are full, done, we can start deleting some of this stuff. We're going to need to deconstruct you, and we're going to need to deconstruct you, and we'll just start the replacements with the sinks at least. Well, we've got another duplicate choice coming up, and all we're looking for is farmers and ranchers. Any farmers? Any ranch? Well, okay, 2 in ranching. Any farmers? Since we desperately need a rancher right now, we're going to take this pawn over here, namely because it's just a +2 ranching. We can also cross-skill them into construction and tidying once we find a better rancher. If they weren't actually available, I'd probably take this one over here, namely because of the strength and athletics. We could turn them into just a regular old gopher. Anyway, please welcome Matthew Clark to the team. Matthew, you will be going straight into ranching. Bathroom-wise, we're almost done. We just got to get rid of 2 of the old sinks and replace them with new ones. Oh, and one of the bathrooms needs to go as well. That can go, and yeah, come on, hurry up, guys. Oh, having a break, sleeping on the jobs. There we go. But the system is not quite finished yet. Of course, it's there's one horrible problem we have to deal with, and that is overflow. When we have too much polluted water out of here, this actually produces more water than it consumes. So what we were waiting for was research into liquid reservoirs. So what we'll end up doing with that is just stockpiling that in a liquid reservoir for now, and later on we're going to feed that into some reed fiber or something like that to dispose of it. The polluted water is just all going to end up in there. We're not going to filter it into clean water, because if you do, then that clean water will probably end up in this tank at some point, and we don't want that much germs in our tank. But that is all of, well, this bathroom's automated. That should hopefully cut down on a little bit of labour. Now it's time to get into radiation research. So on the research front over here, you'll see we're going straight down for the Radbolt generators. Then I think we're going to go straight down here. We're going to need to get some anti-rad medication as well to hopefully help us out. That stuff's cheap. It basically costs coal. But we'll get around to that when the time comes. For now, let's see about extracting everything out of here. Oh, there's a second vent down here. That sounds crunchy. Okay, let's see if we can't get in here without destroying too much of the sleep. We'd like to keep some of that alive if at all possible. We want to mutate that later. Alright, let me plan this out. That should get us in fairly cleanly, without too much mess. Alright, and I also want to see what's in both of these vents. Not just the radiation is good, and what's the hell is... There's another biome on the side of this? How wide is this map? I think I've forgotten how wide these were. No, I think the edge is about maybe there? You can kind of tell by cycling back left to right. Oh, there's some polluted oxygen over there somewhere. These things are pretty huge. Or maybe that's one of the... Oh, that's probably one of the other asteroids. Never mind. Alright, let's dig all of these up and hopefully start ourselves on our radiation path. While this is going on, we might want to start issuing out a few upgrades, namely to our diggers. We're going to need them to be able to dig obsidian, because that will allow them to dig the material surrounding those vents and geysers. Otherwise, they can't get in. Our field researcher, you know what? Ooh. Yeah, we might want to keep that point just in case we need it for the atomic research. I was going to give them improved carry, but we'll leave it. Maybe they'll maybe they'll need that point. Our chef, you know what? Another improved carry, can't hurt. And Hamsam, our farmer, you know, improved carry because you're going to need that anyway. And crop tending, no, we're going to put you into a tinkering. So yeah, we'll start sending you that direction already. And our first vent is, drumroll please, a hot polluted oxygen vent. We'll just leave that covered. The second one is a saltwater geyser. Water comes out at 95C. That is, yes, that's perfect. We'll take it. That is a whole bunch of water for us. Where are we going to dump that, though? It's 95C water. I really don't want to destroy this ice biome just yet. It is a nice ice biome. Ooh, sleet wheat's ready for harvest. That should allow us to get out a few frost buns nice and early. I mean, our calories are... Yeah, that's too many calories already. Okay, but we do need to dig up some of these wheezeworts. We're going to need... Ooh, let's just grab 3, 4... Oh, maybe 5? Yeah, we'll grab 5 of them. 5 of them will be okay. Now we need to decide where we're going to put our research lab. Now, research labs, these stations, where is it? Under radiation. Under stations? Yeah. Atomic collider. Oh, requires 400 kilos of refined metal. 1 minute while we chuck out some refined metal then. While we're waiting for that to get smashed out, we're also got a duplicate choice up ahead. Ooh, poke shells. Nope. We were looking for a farmer for a while now, and while they've only got 1 skill, it's fine. I can't wait any longer. So, please welcome to the team, Sean Biog. Yeah, now I know that doesn't seem like Sean Biog, but if you're Irish, you know what I'm talking about. So that's Sean Biog right there. Sean, welcome to the team. Give us one moment while we finish out the last of that copper ore and we can stick in our science facility. This device was unfortunately redlining our grid and causing it to get blackouts. So we moved it down here and put it onto its own separate little power grid. That did set us back a bit because we had to pay for the smart battery. But now we actually have it on its own individual power grid and there's no more slowdown. It's just, yep, it's getting hammered out in a timely fashion. And we should hopefully have enough copper shortly. What are we up to? 490. Perfect. That means station-wise, we're going to get our atomic collider and we're going to stick it down here. Actually, right about there. Can we fit a light above that? That would be nice if we could. Oh, perfect. We'll stick a light right there. We've also moved our other science station down here, the supercomputer. The thing is, the supercomputer takes water, and it used to be I'd set up a little water tank near it, and then I decided, wait a minute, what if we just moved it closer to the water? I mean, the distance between here and their sleeping quarters and all that is not really that great anyway, and if they just slide down here, they can hop back and forth to get the water. Why, you know, have the mountain come to Muhammad when Muhammad can go to the mountain, or, you know, I don't know, it was something about a mountain and it wasn't housebroken, and yeah, you had to tame the mountain. So, we've got this over here. This is going to be our atomic collider. And we want to make sure our radiation is not too close to it or will irradiate our researcher. Because they're not going to be wearing any protective suits. At the same time, we're going to want to get into medicine as well, aren't we? If we check under medicine here, we can get ourselves down an apothecary. We're going to stick you down. Right here is fine. It does draw a little bit of power, but it shouldn't be nearly as bad as the rock crusher was. Then we're going to need to get ourselves some wheezeworts and we're going to have to put them over here somewhere to generate the radiation, and then we're going to collect it with a radbolter and fire it in. A minute while I figure out where I'm going to put everything. This here is your radbolt generator. Under radiation you can find them, and they take 480 watts of power. They're a pretty beastly power hog for this area in the game. And you can make them out of stone materials. Best one to do is probably obsidian, highest melting point, but it doesn't really matter, to be honest, as long as we're keeping it down here. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to keep this about 6 tiles away from this entry point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me about right there should be perfect. We're also going to want to change its orientation so it's pointing at that. Now this here, this little sort of solar panel almost looking type thing, that is where the radiation is absorbed. So we want to get radiation as close to that as possible. That means we're going to put those wheezeworts over here that we found earlier. They generate radiation. You can see it down here. So what we want to do is plant the wheezeworts nearby, as close to this as we possibly can, and try and dump as much radiation onto that one tile as possible. I know that looks very confusing, but it will make more sense as the plants go in and as it's constructed. And at the same time, let's grab a wire from over here. This is going to feed off our second power grid. You can feed that, and we'll have this feed over here into our radbolt reflector, which we can then set to direction it fires out the radbolts in. So it'll make more sense as radbolts come online. You can immediately... Where are they? Give me wheezeworts. Excellent. We're also going to copy those settings to here, 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 and here. This place is going to get pretty chilly, but who cares? It's around our power plants. And, we're probably going to put in a little bit more insulation here as well. When it comes to these, the radiation they give off can be blocked, but can be reduced because it has a problem passing through materials. So we're just going to use some igneous rock here. When it comes to blocking them, just know that when it comes to rocks, igneous and obsidian are the best, all the rest are not as good. So we're trying to block the spread of the radiation that's going to come out of these. They also need fertilizer, which is phosphorite. Do we even have any of that? Turns out we do. We have a couple of tons of this stuff, but we're going to need more. We got to keep these all fertilized so that they're generating that radiation. They don't generate radiation when they're not actually fed yet. Alright, I think everyone's taking a bit of a snack and a break, but once they get around to finishing this, we should be able to start this up. Ooh. Yes, let's see if we've got any good dupes. Ooh, this one was very tempting. Look at that, suit wearing and rocketry all in one. That'd be great for a rocket pilot. Unfortunately, they're gourmet, which will decrease their food morale bonus, which, not so good. I think we're going to be taking the Pacu. Yeah, actually, can we keep those alive and maybe get them into our fish tank? That would be nice. Maybe we can, maybe we can't. You move over there. One sec. They might flop out across here and end up in our water tank. I think it's a little bit too far away for them to detect, but who cares? Let's see where they go. Are you going to go left? Oh, yeah, no, they can sense the water. They're heading straight for it. That is actually excellent for us. Boom, done. Here we are. Radiation online. Now, you'll notice the radiation around here. You can see 83 rads here. You can see, mostly say 45, 91, 117. It all changes depending on where you're located. Now, this thing says it absorbs radiation, but no, it didn't really absorb it. It just checks to see what the radiation is in the tile it's in that tile right there. And whatever that radiation is, that's how much it absorbs, and it does it, and it starts generating these Radbolts. Once it hits 50, it fires the Radbolt out across there. Oh, that reminds me, we need to put in a bunch of automation on this sucker. We're going to grab a signal switch. It doesn't really matter where it is. We'll put you over there. Actually, maybe it does matter where it is. That's really far away. Let's just put in a signal switch right there. Give it an automation wire. Boom. Get rid of that. We're going to want to be able to turn this off so we can save Radbolts when the time comes. Hey, where's my... Oh, my farmer's on it. And now... We should probably make it so that they can't get in here, though. But how do we do that without blocking the Radbolt generator? You see, I don't want them wandering in here when they could potentially get shot by that Radbolt. Redesign choice. There we go. Perfect. All right. So now they won't be able to step across here, and they shouldn't put themselves in the line of fire, because this thing will fire a Radbolt, and if it intersects with a duplicate, the duplicate will take a lot of damage. So radiation-wise, we're actually pretty safe out here. You'll see there's 0 rads out here where the people are getting research done, and then this thing here is getting about 104 rads per cycle on this one tile, which is good. We could probably, like, there's nowhere we could find that. Oh, there's 107. Wait, how is there 107 over there? Damn it. Never mind. 106, 90, yeah, that's about as good as it's going to get. Now, these things are quite energy hogs. Remember, this is 480 watts at this stage of the game, which is a bit of a problem, which is why we had to put in a whole second set of coal generators to keep it going. But at the same time, we can turn this off when we want to, but when we do, you'll notice it doesn't actually stop. It's still collecting Radbolts. See? What this does is it turns it on and off whether it shoots those Radbolts out. It'll keep collecting them. We just said don't collect any more. The reason we're just telling it not to fire them. The reason being this thing can hold 100 Radbolts, and this thing fires them in batches of 50. So once it's fired 2 Radbolts, well, not quite, this thing will be full. In fact, we'll wait until we've got a couple of charges in the tank, and then we'll demonstrate it. In fact, we're going to need a researcher for that. So Synthiathrak, whatever. You're on atomic research. Boom. Now, while that's going on, let's maybe knock out a couple of other side researchers while we're here. We want to get our hands on radiation protection pretty soon. We're going to want plastic and low resistance conductors, because that gets us right to there. Yeah, we're going to want low resistance conductors, then we're going to want plastic. Food reprocessing? No, yeah, we don't care. We'll get that done, and then we'll get right back to doing some nuclear research. Or atomic research? I don't know what they call it. But while we're at it, rad pills. They cost 1 kilo of coal. We'll just put out about 20 of them. Reason being, oh, I'm going to need a doctor for that. Damn it! There's actually a purpose for the doctors now. Reason being, when it comes to rad exposure, let's see if any of them got it so far. You will see all of them have absorbed a tiny bit of radiation. This is actually minuscule. Current exposure 0.003 rads. However, they don't recover from it naturally. As in, when they're walking around for the whole day, any rad doses they get just keeps going up and up and up until they'll eventually get sick if they keep getting it. However, when they do go to the bathroom, it subtracts about 60 rads from them. So Sean Bjug here has absorbed 0.52 rads. But the moment they're finished in the bathroom, gone. Absolutely vanished. So this will absorb about 60 rads, I believe. Don't know the exact number. I believe it's 60. That means you can get rid of 60 that way, but if they do take an anti-rad pill, a basic rad pill, it gives them a minus 100 rads per cycle, meaning they'll slowly bleed out the rads they've accumulated during the day. This is just a good idea when we start dealing with things like this. Alright, with that done, what are we up to? Oh, we got 56. We can finally fire a Radbolt. Well, finally. Alright, we're going to turn this on, and then we're still going to watch the Radbolt. Now remember, this Radbolt comes out with 50 in it. But turn this off again. I don't think it really matters, but if you'll check this Radbolt here, there's 49 in it, because it loses rads as it travels, meaning in a perfect vacuum, this will lose 1 rad per tile. In a non-perfect vacuum, you lose a little bit more than that. We're into 48, 47, 45. So we've traveled 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles. 5 tiles? And then it finally hits here. It's absorbed, and we got 44. So we lost 6 Radbolts between here and here. So what you could do is you could stack this right beside there, but if we did that, the radiation from this would be, our researcher would be exposed to it every time they came here. So I prefer to keep it just far enough away that our researcher is perfectly protected, and we're also using igneous rock, or obsidian would also do. In fact, to make sure they never go any further, let's just brick that in there. That means that flies in there, and this should give them as much protection as possible. However, as that flies through the air, it radiates things, so any oxygen gases in the way, they will take on some rads and they can like float outside the area. Over here, let's maybe put a tile there to help cut down on that. It's just the radiation there is getting in on top of the coal generators. It's not really that big a deal, to be honest. If we deleted all of these or dug them all up, the radiation instantly vanishes. It doesn't really permeate things permanently. It's only, this is the only source, is these wheatworts and the shine bugs. Shine bugs also give off a little bit of radiation. In fact, a shine bug reactor would be a very good idea. We might get into those later once our ranching comes online. All right. With that done, let's wait until we've got enough of this to knock out one of the radiation researchers and we can see how it works. Oh, might as well cover a little bit of that now. When it comes to research here, you'll notice this here requires 5 atomic research. 10 Radbolts are equal to 1 atomic research. So just multiply it by 5 to figure out what you're supposed to actually have in the research unit. So for this, we would need 50 Radbolts, meaning we've already got 4.4 of them. Meaning we're just like one more shot and we'll be able to knock out that research. And as you can see, it actually goes up pretty quick. Using just a few of these, we're fine. Now, I don't think we can see space yet. Yeah, no, we can't. As far as we're space gives off about 25 rads, as in the entirety of the space biome is just irradiated in 25 rads. But that's not as good as down here, where we're getting ourselves... What's our radiation again? 106, 107? Yeah, we're getting ourselves 103 rads on this device here, which means we're getting 3 times the amount of power we would get if we just stuck one of these in space. At the same time, you know, this cuts down on our power requirements, meaning we can get it faster with less power requirements. All right then, with all of that done... Nope, that charge? No. I think next up is oxygen. Yes, that was it. We want to put in, say, a big oxygen production facility over here, run the oxygen through this section. Should we put it in here and run it through, or... Let me come up with a plan. I'm thinking we stick in our oxygen production right here. It's close by, should be fairly fast to build. As well as that, we're going to grab some of that gold amalgam that'll help us out making some temperature-resistant pieces for it. And we'll probably go with a full-sized oxygen production facility. I mean, we could go with the 1 kilo one, but I think we'll go with the 3 kilo or the Rodriguez. All right. Now, yeah, we're going to have to... I think we're going to break this open and let that hydrogen out. It'll be a bit of an annoyance, but I think we'll just dump all of this water down there. Why not? We can demolish most of this biome and we'll chuck all that slime away somewhere. Yeah, this could take a minute or 3. One thing we should really do before we clean this up, though, is prepare for more dupes. We're already up to the max of 8, so I've expanded our dining facilities so we can support more than the 8 we currently have available. Actually, we could put in a 9th there, though that feels really lopsided. We're going to stick in an extra 16 bedrooms, but I think we'll delete these. These beds being closer to the dining area and the bathrooms just feels more appropriate. So we'll move all of the dupes up there to those rooms, and then once that's done, then we'll go and do our electronic systems, or our oxygen systems. We've got 40 tons of algae, so we're good for a little bit while longer. That feels more like it. We've got everyone nice and close to the top. It feels slightly more organized. All right, let's see. I'm thinking we've got a mechatronics engineer over here. Anemic, no thank you. Narcoleptic, no thank you. So yeah, I think our newest mechatronic engineer will be called Joel Seguin. Welcome to the team. And we've just finished all your bedrooms and dining hall areas and everything. Perfect timing. Before we go any further, just one last research thing we want to knock out. We want to knock out the steam engines, or was it steam turbines and solar panels, because it requires atomic research. And we'll actually get to see it in action. Now, that's assuming the researcher decides to do that. Or they'll probably go with the simple research first, and then they'll get down to it. Once they get down to this, we'll come back to... here we go. Right, so they're using the atomic collider, and you can see they're consuming the Radbolts. And maybe slow that down just a scooch. You can see they're plowing through the Radbolts, so what we'll do is we'll turn this on once, and that zaps the thing up with another bunch of Radbolts, and that should give them more than enough to finish all the research. And you notice they fly through it quite quickly. This research is actually pretty fast. And also, you'll notice we've accumulated another 179 Radbolts. Remember, it's going to be, because of the distance we're away, we're going to lose 6 Radbolts with every transfer, and we can only do it in batches of 50, so we'll only get across, well, never mind, I'm not bother doing the math on it. We have enough to do this, and the thing is, we're going to turn this on when we need it. We can't really automate this, so to speak. The thing is, we could leave this on all the time, but the moment this hits 100 Radbolts in its contents, anything else fired at it is lost. So there's going to be quite a lot of manual labour with this until later on. And let's check the research screen here. And you'll notice, boom, all knocked out. So I think the next thing we'll probably knock out will be hazmat suits and things like that. I would really like to get around to making a nuclear reactor really soon. No. We've got to go down to the oil biome, so we've got to get a few other things knocked out. We can get power from the top of the map with this. We have access to atmosuits, so we're going to use that to go down to the oil biome, and that'll get us a load of lead, as well as that gets us oil and a few other things, and we can start doing an industrial brick, and then we can start doing a nuclear reactor. But for the time being, no. Curate this space. Time to make oxygen production. While we're excavating out a little bit of a polluted water tank down here, we have had the chance for some new printables. And an interesting choice has come up. I think we're going to take it, though. It's a +8 researcher. Normally you don't need a second researcher, but I think in this instance we are. It's going to be to do with dealing with plants later on and a bunch of other things, but I think a second researcher might do us good. Please welcome to the team, Philip Matthew Torres. Okay, Mr. Torres. You shall be our sciencer. Well, our second sciencer. And faceplant. Yep, because that's how all duplicates come into the world. Now, yes, over here. We're just going to finish coring this out. I want to make a bit of space for the polluted water. That way we can drop the rest of it in there. And then we can core this out and get our hands on all of that lovely, lovely gold amalgam. We are in no way going to be able to finish this today. We're already at, I think it's about 27, 28 minutes of footage. So I think we'll take care of a couple of side projects instead. First one is we have to start getting rid of that polluted dirt. We've been sort of just ignoring it because it wasn't worth the effort, but now, well, we'll stick a bunch of compost back there and finally get rid of it. It's just some of that polluted oxygen is starting to become an annoyance. So let's get rid of all of that polluted dirt. We'll stick it all back here because it's all, of course, going to have germs in it, and we want to make sure all of our duplicants wash their hands going in and out. Unfortunately, we're still going to end up with them taking that dirt, putting it into our mealwood, and then eating it off their hands, but you know what, I don't care. As long as we get rid of the polluted oxygen, it's at least one thing solved. Over here, we're going to go with consumable ore and sand. Oh, wait, no, filtration medium. Is it? Yeah, sand can go there. We'll make you a very low priority. That's just to make sure we have sand on hand for that water save. It should cut down on travel distance. Then over here, what we are doing is we are putting in a whole bunch of deodorizers to get rid of all the polluted oxygen full of slime lung germs. There's a lot of slime lung germs in there, but it's fine. This stuff is mostly harmless. It's been neutered since it's so many patches. This stuff used to be a lot more brutal, but a lot of people complained, so the devs were like, you know what, it's not worth the effort, we'll just nerf it into the ground. So now slime lung is more of an annoyance than anything else. If you're a bit of a masochist, I believe there are patches out there that restore the danger to slime lung, making it far, far, far more deadly. Well, if you're interested in that sort of thing. Personally, I think I'm okay with the way it is right now. Alright, with that done, that gives us enough space for the oxygen production, and it should have given us more than enough gold amalgam. 9.6 tons. We are golden. Literally. So, as a quick side project before we log off, let's just make sure we knock out the last of, what was it? Yeah, there was this radiation research for lead suits, lead suit docks, and lead suit checkpoints. Of course, we can't make any of them just yet because we don't have the necessary equipment. But no Radbolts in there. We'll just turn this on. That gives us, was it 44? Oh my God, I forgot how fast this was. I've got a little bit of a speed mod working away. So that's 44 Radbolts. Let's just chuck in another one. And there we go. That'll give us 88 Radbolts, which will do us just fine. And we've still got plenty more in the tank. This here will provide more than enough radiation to knock out all the research. You don't really need to build a reactor or do anything. It's just Weezeworts provides so much. Even if the Weezeworts weren't here, we could just go to space and get it. I don't think you really need the reactor for this. I think you need the reactor for something else, but we'll get around to that later. One other thing we want to take care of while we're here, yeah, ranching. We want to start our ranching up right now. Now we need, was it 96 tiles, I think? Yeah, so right to about there. We'll stick the doors in. Oh, wait, no, back one. Because we need to stick in, ooh, is it about there? Yeah, we're going to need to stick in one of those about there. Mesh tile on top. One moment. I'm quite proud of this old ranching design. It has stood the test of time. I can't remember how long ago I came up with it, but it just still works and does its job. Lots of other designs have had to been changed, modded, or tweaked to improve, but this one, no, still works rock solid even after all this time. Alright. Done, done, done. Now let's just wrangle a few hatches in here, shall we? Turns out there's 6 hatch eggs on the map, so that simplifies things a lot. We'll just wait until those 6 hatch and we can start grooming them. We'll set this up for, where is it? Hatches. God damn. Give me hatchlings. Done. And we'll make that a max of 7 critters. And now let's duplicate this down one level. And that should be ranching sorted for a while. It'll support about, what, 16 hatches? Well, we'll have to put in some automation in a bit. 5, 10, or was it 4? No, yeah, it's 5, 10, 15. So it'll support about 15 hatches with the incubators. We'll set those all up for hatchling eggs. Incubate. Yeah, we'll copy those across. How many of you were betting I was going to forget about this polluted water in here and let it overflow? Come on. Even I was betting I was going to do that when I installed this, but I remembered. Thimble reed in there, that will take care of any of that water. There was only about 700 kilos in there when we started. I think Yeah, I think that's sorted. However, research-wise, like just game theory-wise on this Radbolt generator and putting it into the atomic collider, right now we have how much Radbolts stored up? 1,058 Radbolts. Throwing that through a calculator, that should give us, like, between the transfer losses and all that, that'll give us about 93 atomic research. 93. That's what we've got already in the tank. So everything in this row costs 5, which means, let me do some quick math. To knock out all the rest of the atomic research, and this is going to cost us about 30 research points, which, yeah, we've got 93 already stored up. But like when you get over here, this goes up to, what is it, that's 10, but some of these are like, oh, they're an awful lot more. This one's here is 40. There's 40 atomic research here. And when you get to the end ones, you're looking at 340. There's 300 for Radbolt propulsion. The radiation refinement, as in the research reactor, that's going to cost us 40. Some of these are going to be a little bit expensive, but by and large, we're going to have all the Radbolts we need to knock out all of the critical tech. So I don't really see this as being much of a problem, to be honest. I mean, all we had to do was grab some of these. If you don't have Wheezeworts, that would be an issue. But then again, you can always use where are they? The shine bugs. And if you don't have the shine bugs, at the very worst case scenario, you can start using space, which it's much lower throughput and you require a lot more power. It's still very doable. I don't know how I feel about it. It's interesting, but I really just want to start playing around with the nuclear reactors. That's where all the real fun is. Anyway, I think we've had a very, very productive day today. I hope you enjoyed it. Good luck.